All right, the last part of this section, we're going to talk about shape of distribution. Now, this is going to take us through the rest of the semester. Anytime you're talking about what is the shape of my distribution, this is common as you're looking at these different graphs and how they lay out. It doesn't just have to be histograms. Anything, we're just looking at histograms here, but anything we're talking about distribution, then we want to see the shape. So if I have uniform shape is each variable is evenly spread out. It's exactly across the top. Notice how it's all lined up across the top here. Each variable is evenly spread out. Straight across the top. Uniform. It's all together. That's a uniform distribution. All right. The next one, which is a very common one, is a bell-shaped. And it looks like that. So here's the deal. The highest frequency is in the middle. And it goes down from there. All right. It's not always exactly a bell shape. So let me pull this out. Not always exactly a bell shape, but it is symmetric. All right. So it doesn't have to be exactly a bell, because notice this doesn't exactly line up, exact places, exact. It could be shorter down here, taller up here. But if you get the general bell-shaped curve, then that's still considered a bell shape, and it is symmetric, which means the left and the right line up. This is also considered symmetric because it's all exactly the same. Now check what's happening here. If I'm looking, let me actually draw on it. If I'm looking at this shape, it's not quite bell because it's got a real long tail. Where is that tail? It's on the right. So if it's skewed to the right, then it has a tail on the right. It's because this data goes way out here and I still have data on the right side, and that's skewing my data because all that data, there's not much over here, but it's enough to pull it, and that's what makes it skewed right. Now check out this next one over here. How do you think this is happening? Where's the tail? On that left. Tail on the left, and that is skewed left. A lot of people think, where's the majority of my data? That's how it's skewed. And so you're going to say skewed right because this is where the majority of my data is. No. Where the tail is, that's how it's skewed, because that's where that data that doesn't happen very much, but it's enough to pull your mean and your median, which we'll talk about later. But it's enough to pull that data. All right. So that's wherever your tail is, and we're going to talk about that more and more as we progress through this course. Wherever that tail is, that's how it's skewed. All right, so the shape of distribution. Learn it, love it. It's not going away. All right, check out this one. The figure below displays a histogram from example 4, which we have already seen right? So this is just a frequency one of it. What kind of shape do you think is happening here? Yeah, kind of crazy, right? Kind of crazy shape. Here, it's obviously doesn't have like a tail. We've got this middle that's kind of big up here. As we're going through, it's not exactly a bell shape, but it's the closest that there is, right? So if I'm looking at this and I want to try to follow my data, it's not exactly a bell shape because I got this big open spot right in here, but it is definitely symmetric. It's definitely symmetric data. And I'm going to say, as I'm looking at it, that it does go to the top, but with that empty there in the middle, it is symmetric data. It's not exactly a bell shape that we're looking for, but it is certainly symmetric data. So the goal is try to just get it as close as you can to one of these options, and so that you can identify that shape. All right. Cool. You guys are doing amazing.